Hi, and welcome back to my channel. I thought I would start a new series of learning how to embroider. I cross stitch and I've been doing that for a while, but this is a new experience for me. So I picked up a kit from Hobby Lobby from Leisure Arts, and they are embroidered wildflowers. And so let's see what's inside and see what kind of instructions they have for me. Ready? So opening the kit up is always the best part. It had everything that I needed. I love kits like this because everything is included. And the instructions were pretty straightforward, which is always a good plus too. It comes with an embroidery hoop, embroidery floss of all different colors. Look at that palette. And the printed fabric piece. I'm not quite sure if this fabric will allow for the ink to wash away when you're done, but I will test it and let you guys know once I'm finished to see if the lines will wash away from the fabric itself. It also came with an embroidery needle and of course instructions. So after looking through the instructions, I decided that the easiest stitch for me to start with would probably be the satin stitch. And I could either do the blue flowers, the blue leaves, they're kind of like leaves, in the upper left corner, or I could have done one of the other flowers, the other pink flowers. But I decided the blue was the smallest portion, so I wanted to try that first. So I had this satin stitch at the beginning, and the middle of the leaf where the line is, you kind of went up the line as you went toward the top of the leaf itself. And so I had to keep looking back at the picture of it to make sure that I was doing it somewhat correctly. I also do that when I work on puzzles and things like that. I'm constantly looking at the picture to compare colors and kind of figure that out. So please excuse the back and forth. I had so many knots come through the back, and so, not through the back, stop me at the back. So I'm flipping through it back and forth quite often. The instructions showed what kind of, like how many threads you would need for each stitch, and this one was 3. And usually I work with 2, and the fabric I work with in cross stitching has holes in it, and so it doesn't catch as much as it did for me on this. So that is a learning experience in itself. I also had to do the running stitch in order to make the stem of those leaves. And so I went through a few times and read the instructions to make sure that I could figure out how to do it. I don't know if you can notice with it being sped up, but there are a few times where I put a stitch in and realize that there's quite a bit of white showing in between it and my last stitch, and then I'll go back and fill those in so that it doesn't have a big white spot. With cross stitching, I know my next point to enter and to come back through. And so with this, it is tricky finding a spot on the line of the leaf to know exactly where to go. So it's a bunch of trial and error, putting the needle in and then figuring out how to fill in the gaps that I created. can definitely tell this is my first embroidery video because I am not keeping it all in frame, and I tend to hug that lower right side of the camera frame. So I apologize if you cannot see it very well at all. I will be working on where to position my project in the future as I am recording this. So bear with me. I'm learning on all fronts how to embroider and also how to record it properly. I recognize that it's a little bit better when I hold it back like that, and maybe I need to do that a little bit more often. I mentioned briefly at the beginning that I have been doing cross stitching for a while, and I was thinking about recording some of my cross stitching projects as I go through them, but the one I'm working on right now is really huge, and it is a rendition of Starry Night, and it's beautiful and so colorful. The printed fabric has a lot of colors on it, and then in the end it ends up being a lot of blue, a little bit of green, black, and a little bit of yellow. And so when you look at it, it's a little hard to comprehend what goes where. But I am really excited about that one. It's just taking me a very long time, and so I don't know if recording it would be the most interesting thing in the world. But with embroidery, I want to eventually get to the point where I can embroider on clothes and kind of know the stitches a little bit more so that I am a little more confident in that. I own my own clothing reselling business where I go thrifting and pick up great items and great brands, and I fix them up, I clean them up, and then I sell them online. And until now, I haven't done a ton of upcycling those clothes. I just sell them as is. But I would like to get into that more and be able to embroider some fun things. I think embroidery and stitching is coming back into style in certain aspects, especially like jean jackets or jean pockets or things like that. And so I am wanting to learn how so that I can kind of up my game in the reselling world and make things a little bit more unique. And there you have it. I finished my first portion of my embroidery floral arrangement. I think it looks awesome. I will do the other one on my own time, and then I will come back when I start to do another flower. Thanks for following along.